everybody. I'm going to reconvene the May 15th Parker Town Council meeting at 7:05 p.m. Council, please sign in. All council members are present. All right, anyone in the room under the age of 16, front and center, come on down.
I am.
Anyone in the room under the age of 16, come on down. We're not doing what you think you're here to do. We're doing something else. But come on down. Everyone in the room who's under 16. And there's going to be a couple of them going, oh, but mom said I didn't have to do anything. Here, if you're under 16, we need you down here. You can meet some new friends. All right, so we need your help, guys. Yes, this group of people up here are very skilled and very talented. But nobody in this room takes their civic responsibility as much as you guys do, and that's what we need help with tonight. So you're going to lead all of the people behind you in the most important thing we're doing tonight, and that is honoring our nation with the Pledge of Allegiance. So you guys all know how to say the Pledge of Allegiance, right? So here's how it's going to work. We're all going to turn around. Audience, if you would please rise to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to turn around and face this flag, and we're all going to be super quiet because we're going to wait to hear you guys start. And when you guys start, everyone in the room is going to follow in. Deal?
Deal.
All right.
Put your papers in left hand.
Papers going left hand. Where's your right hand go? Over your heart. All right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
Wonderful, guys. Give them a big round of applause. They were awesome. All right, now you guys can
Sit back in order.
All right, to start off with, we've got some special presentations tonight. And first off, Jim, you want to come down? Superstar Serapis, come on down. Superstar Serapis. This is, for those of you who don't know, this is Jim Serapis. He's a super awesome, amazing guy here in the town of Parker Police Department. What's your, I keep wanting to, your deputy chief, or is this what it's deputy chief, right? Okay. Sometimes I say assistant chief, and someone was like, he's not assistant chief, so deputy chief. So it's my honor to read a proclamation that I'm going to be giving to you here, and for everyone to also hear. It's a proclamation for National Police Week 2017. To recognize National Police Week 2017 and to honor the service and sacrifice of the 145 law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty in 2016 while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are approximately 900,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Parker Police Department. Whereas some 57,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in approximately 15,000 injuries. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 21,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. Whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day with Federal Law 103-322 directing that all flags be flown at half staff on that date in honor of fallen officers and their families. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Parker formally designates May 14th through May 20th, 2017 as Police Week in the town of Parker and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation. Dated this 15th day of 2017, Mayor Mike Wade. So it's my honor to present this with you. Please, round of applause. All right, now our next proclamation is in regards to building safety. Do we have a representative here for the building safety proclamation?
Mr. Rogers.
Usa?
There he is.
All right, we go from police to building safety. So, Whereas continuing efforts to address the issues of safety, energy efficiency, water conservation, and resilience in the built environment that affect our citizens in both everyday life and in times of natural disaster give us confidence that our structures are safe and sound, and whereas building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, laborers, and others in the construction industry work with Coloradans year-round to accomplish the safe construction of buildings, and whereas these guardians, dedicated members of the International Code Council, use a governmental census process that brings together local, state, and federal officials with expertise in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect Americans in the buildings where we live, learn, work, worship, play, and whereas modern building codes also include safeguards to protect the public from natural disasters such as snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes. And whereas Building Safety Month is an opportunity to party, no, I added the party part in there, opportunity to remind the public about the critical role of communities' largely unknown guardians of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us of safe, efficient, and livable buildings. And whereas building codes driving the growth through innovation, resiliency, and safety, the theme for the Building Safety Month 2017, encourages all Americans to become aware of the importance of building safe and resilient construction, fire prevention, disaster mitigation, water safety and conservation, energy efficiency, and new technologies in the construction industry. Therefore, I, Mike Wade, Mayor of the Town of Parker, hereby proclaim May 2017 as Building Safety Month. May God have mercy on your souls. Standing O for building safety, baby. We're gonna want some like dog pound chant, for you guys going, right? All right, now from police to building codes to, I'm gonna let the kids come up and present what our next one is. So I'm assuming that we have some organization for this, so come on down.
On order, guys.
Bless you.
Is this thing on? Oh,
And I'm giving you guys permission to use your outside voice in the microphone. Okay?
We are students from Pioneer Elementary, located right here in Parker, Colorado. Our school is doing a One School, One Cause project this year to help the monarch butterflies. We want to share with you why this is so important.
Did you know that the monarch butterfly is the most recognized butterfly in North America? Sadly, it is in danger. The number of butterflies has gone down by a huge number in the past 20 years. The monarch has lost its habitat and food supply along its migration route. Pesticide use has destroyed much of their food supply, which is milkweed.
We are here tonight to educate you about why the monarch butterfly is in danger and how you can help us in our cause. First, let us tell you what we are doing at Pioneer Elementary to help the monarchs. We have involved the entire school and have divided our action groups into 4 categories: political projects, milkweed projects, butterfly habitat projects, and public education projects. The political projects group includes us, of the local government. One group is contacting the federal government, Colorado senators, and Congress members. The last group in this category is working with the Douglas County School District.
The second category is the butterfly habitat projects. These groups are planting and maintaining the pollinator garden at our school, adding a milkweed section to the Pioneer Garden, and creating an indoor greenhouse to plant milkweed year-round.
Another category is the milkweed projects. They are planting milkweed in the open space by the Pioneer fence
and giving milkweed seeds to pioneer families to plant at their homes, and selling milkweed seeds and donating proceeds to organizations helping the monarchs.
The last category is public education projects. Free groups are doing public service announcements that educate the public about the importance of leaving the monarch butterflies alone, limiting pesticide use during migration periods, and not pulling or cutting down milkweed.
Finally, we want to let you know how you can help us with our cause and why we are here tonight. First, we are asking the mayor to sign a proclamation announcing the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. Next, we are asking the mayor to sign up online to be one of the mayors in the United States committed to saving monarchs. Pioneer Elementary will have already taken care of the action plan. All we really need is his willingness to sign.
Next, talk to your friends and families about the monarchs to get the word out to as many people as possible. Talk to the Chamber of Commerce and ask businesses to plant milkweed or wildflowers on their open spaces. Encourage the citizens of Parker not to use pesticides in their gardens or yards and to support the students selling milkweed to plant.
Finally, we would like to invite you to our spring fling at Pioneer Elementary on May 19th from 5 to 8 p.m. This is a celebration of learning, and all of our One School, One Cause project will be displayed. Finally, we are here. We are very happy for any support that you can give us. Thank you for your time, Pioneer Elementary.
You guys were fantastic. So 3 things for all of you right there. First off, one of your requests with the Parker Chamber of Commerce, this young man in the blue shirt right there, he's kind of the mayor of the Parker Chamber of Commerce, and I'm sure that the Parker Chamber will support you as well. Second, I will gladly go online and support and take the pledge online. Third, it's my honor to read to you guys. Whereas the monarch butterfly is an iconic North American species whose multi-generational migration and metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly has captured the imagination of millions of Americans, and whereas 20 years ago more than 1 billion eastern monarch butterflies migrated to Mexico, but in the winter of 2014 only 60 million made the trip, and whereas cities and towns and counties have a critical role to play to help save the monarch butterfly, and the town of Parker, along with Pioneer Elementary School, have played a leadership role by joining the One School, One Cause and the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, and whereas every citizen of the town of Parker can make a difference for the monarch butterfly by planting native milkweed and nectar plants to provide habitat for the monarch and pollinators in locations where people live, work, learn, play, and worship. And whereas on behalf of the people of the town of Parker, who have already joined me in creating a healthy habitat for these magnificent butterflies, I am honored to be the first mayor to lead the way by signing the National Wildlife Federation's Mayor's Monarch Pledge, and I encourage other municipal officials across our great nation to take a stand with me so that the monarch butterfly will once again flourish across the continent. Therefore, I, Mike Wade, Mayor of the town of Parker, do hereby proclaim May 19th, 2017 as Mayor's Monarch Pledge Day in the town of Parker, and I'm going to walk down and sign your big proclamation that you guys made down there for everyone in this room and everyone on Facebook Live to see. And you even brought a big marker so I don't have to use this one. That is awesome. Can we get this turned on and put up? Well, you've got 2 sizes of markers. All right, so let's zoom in on the signature line. Oh, it's upside down. Well, everyone will get the idea. All right, and there's even a spot for Carol to sign when you're done as well, since she's going to be the witness. Wow. You guys ready? Yes. Oh, that was kind of lame. Are you guys ready? Yes. Oh, that was even a little bit better, but are you ready? Yes. That's a better one. All right, here we go. Mike Wade, Mayor. There we go. Congratulations, guys.
Love that signature.
down, Carol is our town clerk. And not only that, Carol was the very first employee ever hired by the town of Parker. She's employee number 1. So, and she's always number 1 in our hearts. So, all right, so here you go. All right, would you guys hold that side so it doesn't slide down? Just put your hands right here and don't let it slide. There you go.
She's underneath, right?
Yay!
If I may, Ms. Velasco, thank you so very, very much, and Ms. Bainbridge, principal of Pioneer Elementary, thank you very, very much.
Wonderful. All of you kids are awesome. Great job. Good job. You guys can go sit down now. Unless you want to come up here and bang the gavel a little bit. Yeah. No, Augie does.
Of course it was Josh's.
All right, so next item on our agenda is our, well, actually, Michelle, do we have any other special presentations tonight that I'm not aware of? No? All right, then our next item on our agenda is the Parker Chamber of Commerce. Dennis Houston, come on down. Nothing like being put on the spot by a bunch of cool kids, is it? Yeah.
Let's see you follow that.
Yeah.
I know Jason wasn't the last speaker.
His kneecaps were talking, that's why. Yeah.
There we go. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, to the class presenting here tonight, we will be happy to help you guys get the word out to the business community, and if the teachers can help me and feed that information over to me, I'll give you a business card when I'm done here, and we'll put that in our newsletter that goes out to 600 businesses and about 18,000 workers in the Parker area. So we'll help spread the word for you.
Pretty good.
Excellent.
I tell you, this is like closing act for Brett Michaels or something like that after he's been on. I mean, this is a tough spot. So anyway, very impressive. I think we're in good shape as far as our future community leaders when you see these kids that were just up here. Wanted to give you an update on a few good things and fun things happening at the Parker Area Chamber of Commerce. First of all, I'd like to publicly thank you for the approach you've taken as the town of Parker with your downtown master development process. Having attended the event last week, I've heard a lot of great community feedback from people that were very appreciative of that process, and so I applaud you for those efforts. And as you know, the Parker Chamber of Commerce is very interested in what happens in downtown and as we continue to grow as a community. Last week, we hosted one of our quarterly business impact meetings. Our focus was cranes and construction. We had Dan Dirtz from Douglas County and your own Jason Rogers from Town Hall speaking on projects moving into the area, both on a local level and a county level. And we were excited to have 100 attendees there. In the past, that particular meeting's been 40 to 50 attendees over the last year, and it's grown, and so we've kind of hit a new number in the last year. And as we've reached out and done some surveys with our business community, getting that information about what's happening in the community and especially in that economic development field is one of the top two things that show up in that survey that we do each year. Our Parker Area Magazine and Visitors Guide just came out last week. There's one at each of your place settings, so we'll continue to use that as part of our relocation efforts and new resident efforts as well. Some members of our team attended the annual Colorado State Chamber of Commerce Conference last week. We were pleased to be recognized for the magazine with a communications award for the best communications by a chamber in the state of Colorado, and also a special achievement award for our efforts with our Parker relocation program and our Parker new resident program. And actually following that conference, many other chambers have reached out to learn about those two programs. So I guess the secret's out. This Friday, we'll be hosting our 2017 inaugural wine walk. We're excited to bring people downtown. Ignore the forecast. It looks like a little moisture, but it's going to be 82 and sunny on Friday, according to our meteorologist. And with that, we're excited to highlight 30 area businesses, and it really is a great event because it helps fill our businesses and restaurants and pubs in the downtown area. And most restaurants normally report that as their biggest night of the month. So we're, excuse me, we're excited to kick off the Wine Walk series this Friday. A couple updates on Parker Days Festival coming up in just a few weeks on June 8th through the 11th. Brett Michaels with our kickoff concert. If you haven't seen it, check it out on our Chamber Facebook page. But Brett created a special video just for the resident of Parker. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. And if you have, please share it with friends and family if you would to spread the news. Our Share a Coke program is going to be exciting as a new addition this year. We're one of only 2 stops in the state of Colorado on that national program for people to customize their own Coke or Diet Coke product with their own name or with the name of a friend to pass on. And we just learned a few days ago, I've mentioned before that we're bringing the Clydesdales, but Budweiser indicated to us that surprisingly the Clydesdales haven't appeared in the metro area in the last few years. I assume they'd been at a number of events in downtown Denver, even though they're housed in Fort Collins. They're normally on the road in other areas of the western states. So we're excited to bring them to the metro area for the first time in a few years. If you haven't been following Midland, our country band, on Saturday evening at Parker Days, their song called Drinking Problem debuted on the Billboard Top 100 charts at 42, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. And as of today, they're up to 19. So we could have a perfect storm where they're in that top 10 on the charts or perhaps higher.
Please don't use the word storm when referring to music at Parker Days.
Okay. Well, this is a Saturday night concert.
It doesn't matter, Dennis.
Okay. Good point, Mike. So they're number 19 in the Billboard charts, and on the Sirius XM country charts last week, they were number 1 with their songs. We're excited to be bringing them to town for that free concerts. For the younger people in the audience, we'll have one of the biggest carnivals in Colorado with 3 different carnival sites this year. We're excited for that in addition to the car show, the farmers market. A new addition being our food truck alley, and then 300 booth exhibitors. I'd also like to take this chance to publicly thank everyone, the elected officials and all the department heads and the people in the different areas at Town Hall that help us throughout the year on Parker Days. We had another one of our monthly organizational meetings with all the different departments we interact with, and I think it's about every department at Town Hall. And it's something that we couldn't do without their help. So we really appreciate all those efforts. And so we're looking forward to a successful Parker Days in just a few weeks. So be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Council, any questions for Dennis?
How many days off do you take after Parker Days?
0. You start planning right away.
It doesn't happen right away, but Parker Day still goes on pretty strong for us for a couple of weeks after. But there will be a day or 2 off, especially with a high school senior going off to college. So I know I'll be taking a few days, and Sarah, of course, will take some very well-deserved time off.
Yes, absolutely. All right, Dennis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, before we get to our next item, yeah, you guys can clap for him. It's okay. Since you're in the clapping mood, if you could also clap for Tom, it's Tom, right? Who does our, yeah, Tom Barr, who's the gentleman in the back with the headphones on. He's the one doing our Facebook live stream, and he's been doing a fantastic job. So give him a big round of applause. And anyone in the room ever see the movie Spies Like Us? Raise your hand if you have. It's one of my favorite movies, right? Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd. There's a scene in it where they're spies and they're acting like they're doctors, and they're in this tent with these other tribesmen, and they're trying to save them with other doctors. And there's this scene where they come in, and they all are introducing themselves to each other, and it's like 60 seconds of them going, doctor, 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 doctor. And I was going to play that tonight because we are in the presence of greatness. And that is, you will never, probably ever, kids, find again a gentleman who is in a firefighter's uniform who has now just become a PhD doctor. So doctor, why don't you stand up, come down and tell us what, a little bit about why you're a doctor now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marin. As we say in the fire service, paybacks are.
I will not be getting my PhD anytime soon.
Okay. Well, I was lucky enough to attend Oklahoma State University, which is kind of the center of the firefighting world, and received a PhD in Fire and Emergency Management Administration. Fantastic. So it's a political science degree, and my department supported me, and hopefully I will return that favor to them tenfold, and thank you very much for the recognition.
Well, thank you. It's well deserved. Doctor, from now on, I will always refer to you as doctor now. It's never, it could be anytime.
Deputy Chief Doctor.
Deputy Chief Doctor. All right, next item up on our agenda is our public comment section. These is an opportunity for you to come up if you have a comment you'd like to make to council. These are for items that are not currently on our agenda. If you're here for an item that's on the agenda, then there will be a public comment section on that item. There's a 3-minute time limit. No action will be taken on them. It's just an opportunity for you to come down and address council. So we'll open public comment at 7:31 p.m. if there's anyone here wanting to address council. I see some little kids moving, but I think they were here for.
They're making a run to
They're
swirls.
making a run to swirls. Good move.
Mommy hates you now.
All right. Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:31 p.m. and then move on to items, reports, and comments from mayor and council. Mr. Dyack.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things. I was on the 3rd, which was a Wednesday, I was at my Dr. Cog study session. We talked about lots of regional transportation items. Tuesday, I, along with a few of others here on council, bless you, went to the master developer presentation, which we're going to be acting on tonight. Fantastic interaction. Thank you to the staff who put that on. Jason and John was there as well. And I also attended the business impact meeting Dennis alluded to in his comments. I think we're close to 100 people, so it was a tremendous turnout. Great information, and appreciate that. Looking forward to next quarter. Mayor?
Debbie.
Well, one of the things that Dennis left out, I will tell you, I attended that business impact meeting. So not only did the chamber receive those 2 awards that Dennis mentioned, he also was the recipient. It was my pleasure to give him his award. CEO for the whole state, all chambers of commerce in Colorado. So we have to give Dennis a big hand.
Yes, congratulations, Dennis.
I also attended the Master Developer's presentation. Was very interesting, and it looks like things are moving forward with that. The Partnership of Douglas County Governments meets on Wednesday and this week, and the Housing Partnership meeting was canceled for this month.
Anything else?
I think that's all.
All right, Renee.
I was able to attend the lunch bunch at Artisan. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Pizza? Okay, it's not artesian.
Locally owned.
Yep, locally owned and operated. The Boards and Commissions Appreciation Dinner. The Business Impact Meeting with Jason Rogers presenting. You did a fabulous job. Thank you very much. The Citizens Police Academy graduation, and the Farmers Market started up on Mother's Day, and it goes every Sunday through the end of October. So, and it was crowded. So that's my things.
All right. Josh.
The Master Developer presentation, Citizens Police Academy graduation. I've been Mr. Mom for the last week, so I'm a little scrambled. I apologize. I've been helping this class do this presentation. We had Parker Hawks lacrosse had a huge tournament, playoff tournament on Sunday. My son's team did not make it farther, but there are 4 Parker teams that will be playing for championships next week at DU. So very, very proud of the Hawks. Go Hawks, and Parker is well represented.
Amy?
I attended the Centennial Airport Community Noise Roundtable, and that's something that it does affect our community. They work very hard on working closely with the pilots and with the folks over at Centennial Airport to make sure that we do work on noise abatement, things like that affect our community. We, are in line under several airports, not just Centennial, but DIA, Buckley, and so many of those planes do affect the air above us. So it's a good group. If you ever have questions, you're more than welcome to contact me, or any concerns, please reach out.
Mr. Martin?
So a couple things I did attend also the boards and commissions dinner. And there's a number of volunteer boards and commissions that serve the town of Parker and ultimately all of our citizens, and they put in hours and hours and hours and hours, which is great because they have enough interest and investment in their town. They're willing to spend their own time to come out and participate in those things, and that's one of the hardest things we can ask people to do is give of their time. So we really appreciate those folks, and it was a great event, as it has been the past few years. Secondly, we also do retention visits with our economic development folks. We go out and meet with local business owners and whatnot just to get some feedback as to how business is going, what challenges are they having, is there anything the town can do to improve the business environment for them. So Darlene and I were down at Colorado Pizza down in Cottonwood, and they're hoping to expand their operation as they've been very successful since they've been in Parker. And lastly, I sit on the board of directors for E470. Anybody that drives the road, you may have noticed there's been a little construction on there. We are on time, on target, and under budget to finish that on or about October of this year. You'll have the 3 lanes basically from Parker Road out to Quincy will be completed. And then as part of that, they're going to redo the on-ramps that go from Parker Road onto E470 as well, because some of those are aging not so gracefully at this point. So, and that is all I have.
Okay. I had the Artisan Pizza ribbon cutting. I also was one of the 3 keynote speakers at the Rotary Women of Achievement lunch. I gave the prayer for governments at 2 different National Day of Prayer events, one breakfast and one dinner. At the same day, actually scheduled at the same time, so I was a little late to it, was the Boards and Commissions dinner where we thanked our boards and commission members. I was also asked to sit on with Innovation Pavilion. They had their first online innovation roundtable with governments, and I was asked to sit, so they actually had flown in the mayor and half of the council from Lincoln, Nebraska. And they also had the person in charge of their library district and a few other things. It was they flew into Centennial is actually where Innovation Pavilion currently has their location. On the panel itself was the mayor of Lincoln, Nebraska, myself, Mayor Rakowski from Greenwood Village, and Mayor Noon from Centennial, along with and I can never remember his name, the gentleman who's the CEO of the South Metro Denver Business Partnership or whatever, all the acronyms we have. But at any rate, it was a great opportunity. It was done Facebook Live as well. It was live streamed, and it was a discussion on how communities like ours can collaborate to bring innovation and business and citizens together. The next day, Innovation Pavilion had the launch at O'Brien Park of the nation's first smart park, which is here in Parker, Colorado, and a launch of their app that they designed to help encourage kids to be active and learn the benefits of eating well. That was actually pretty cool. They gave away Fitbits to like the kids who participated, and there was like 80-some kids. It was really cool. Last Saturday, we had the conclusion of the 5th annual Shave the Mayor for St. Baldrick's, because we had one lady who was the young man who passed away. His name was Dalton, and he was a dancer, and his dance instructor, Amy, couldn't be there the day of Shave the Mayor because she was at a national dance competition. It's somewhat interesting. She's also in charge of the dance team at Colorado School of Mines, where my son is going this fall. So apparently they have a dance team there. I didn't realize. But Amy, she is now the second place for raising funds for the event. I got to shave her head on Saturday at Colorado School of Dance. It was a very, very, very powerful, and numbers are coming in, but we should be just a smidge under $80,000 raised for the event. So it was a very, very successful event. Thank you. Attended the master developer presentation. That was always nice. I was also asked to be the intro lead-in person for the first annual Parker Arts Shakespeare Festival at the Pace Center with kids from middle schools and high schools from the area. It was a contest, a competition. It was really cool. If you're into theater at all, you would have been blown away at the talent that these kids had. It was really, really cool, and I got to be annoying, and they hooked me up to a microphone that you could hear me throughout the entire building, and I was supposed to talk in an English accent and welcome everybody. I was even in costume. It was pretty cool. Had scout nights last Thursday, and one of the coolest and most interesting things happened this last week. You guys have probably heard me talk many times about how, no offense to our Facebook live stream and our wonderful Tom who's doing it, but a lot of times new technology, social media, things like that can really suck. And it gives an opportunity for misinformation and an opportunity for things that aren't appropriate. But one of the advantages of it is how easy it is to contact and collaborate with people that you will never meet. And I received a message from the mayor of St. Albert, Alberta, Canada, who wanted to talk with me about the legalization of marijuana and how it has affected our community. Doing some research on St. Albert, it is almost identical to Parker, Colorado, almost identical in size, almost identical in distance from Calgary, I think, is the big city equivalent to Denver. Everything. They have a cultural district. It was really cool to get to talk to someone that I will probably never meet face to face, but share ideas on what Amendment 64 has meant to the citizens of Parker, meant to us as town government, the challenges we're facing. In their case, there's a large push this year to on a national level legalize marijuana, and I'm part of the Metro Mayor's Caucus. He's part of an equivalent caucus in the area of 40-some or 20-some mayors, and it was very, very interesting. So that was really cool, and something that in 9 years of elected service I haven't had the opportunity to do. So that's my list for the last 2 weeks. All right, next item up is our consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with one motion and one vote unless a council member asks to have something removed for further discussion. So with that, council, I will entertain further discussion or motion on consent agenda items 6A through 6E.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Josh and a second from Amy. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is our town administrator's report. You can go online, anyone who in the room here, or anyone watching on Facebook Live, and read our town administrator's report. We also have some hard copies in the back room here. Apparently, we've got a high school kid who needs to be here for a class. No, you're just hanging out? Nice. Sweet. Gotta love that. Just kidding. Just teasing. We have some hard copies in the back. You feel free to grab one. It's lots of great information, or like I said, you can find it online. All right, so next item up, item number 8. This is ordinance number 3.147.6 on second reading. My understanding, Mr. Maloney, is that the request has been made to continue this item to a date certain of August 21st, 2017?
That is correct, Mayor.
Okay, so council, I would entertain a motion to continue item number 8, ordinance number 3.147.6 on second reading to a date certain of August 21st, 2017.
So moved.
Motion by Amy.
Second.
Second by Renee. Council, please vote.
Just saying.
Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is item number 9. This is ordinance number 1.289.3 on second reading. This is a bill for an ordinance to approve the Third Amendment to the cooperation agreement between the Town of Parker, Colorado and the Parker Authority for Reinvestment for Administrative Services. Weldy, you're going to lead the presentation.
I am. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as part of the Master Developer RFQ process, PAR has been the lead entity up until this point. It does include, the entire RFQ is 4 parcels in total, 1 owned by PAR, the former ED building, and then 3 that are town-owned. This third amendment to the cooperation agreement would allow PAR to remain as the lead entity as we move through the process with the master developer. I just want to be clear that the authorization for PAR to be the lead entity is limited to the submission of any land use applications and contracts as part of the development process, and any contracts that may be required as we have interim uses on the site. It does not change any ownership of the parcels or any land development processes or requirements at this point. Staff does recommend approval of ordinance number 1.289.3 on second reading.
Council, any questions for Weldy?
Nope.
Okay, since this is a public hearing, we'll open it up for public comment at 7:45 PM if there's anyone here to address council on this item. Doctor? No? All right.
Thank you.
Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:45 PM, and I'll entertain further discussion or a motion, please.
I move to approve ordinance number 1.289.3 on second reading.
Second.
We have a motion by John and a second by Debbie. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item up is ordinance number ordinance number 8.28.4 on second reading. This is a bill for an ordinance to amend Chapter 4.03 of the Parker Municipal Code concerning sales and use tax. Danielle, you're going to be the lead presenter for us tonight.
I am. Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. I am presenting on behalf of the Finance Department. My name is Danielle Tusher. This is a set of standardized sales tax definitions that has been presented in conjunction with the Colorado Municipal League. It's been developed over the last few years at the direction of the Colorado General Assembly in 2014 to find some tax simplification efforts and measures that will help simplify tax compliance for our business community and for the administration. This has been reviewed by Town Council as well as the tax administrator and the finance director. It has been well vetted. There are 69 other home rule cities considering this, and currently 14 are actually in the adoption process. And this should help streamline how we do compliance and make things simpler for the business community.
Excellent. Council, any questions?
Could you tell me and the public what it is, what are we doing? I mean, tax scares people, so what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Go into layman's terms, if you could.
There's several different definitions in our tax code that guide how we administer sales tax at the local level. The state of Colorado also has its own tax definitions, and because we have home rule authority, our definitions aren't necessarily the same as their definitions, meaning the state. That causes confusion for our business community because they have a hard time even defining what is necessarily taxable. So what this is a set of standardized definitions that the home rule municipalities will be using to simplify what is being considered taxable and isn't. It's been worked on for about 3 years. Every couple of years there is a push at the Colorado General Assembly to sort of centralize things, and because of the way home rule works, that isn't necessarily going to be a solution at the local level for us. And so this is the response of the home rule community through the Colorado Municipal League to standardize sales tax definitions.
Excellent. I think that Colorado Municipal League is a champion to the municipality's cause, and obviously I know this council and myself take home rule very seriously. So it does not take away our powers. Am I correct? It doesn't centralize us?
No, it does not centralize. We maintain our own rule. This is not a change in tax policy, and there's no new tax levied with this. It is just a set of definitions that other municipalities can use. Then within each town or city's code, the exemptions and impositions can be added separately. So it's not standardized code.
Thank you. Perfect.
Council, any other questions?
Just a comment, anything that can simplify taxes has got
Is
to be
well
done.
welcomed, yes, we
Well
understand
wanted.
that.
All right, we'll open it up for public comment at 7:48 PM if there's anyone here to address council. Seeing no movement, we'll close public comment at 7:49 PM, and I'll entertain further discussion or a motion, please.
I move to approve ordinance number 8.28.4 on second reading.
Second.
Motion by Josh and a second by John. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda, item number 11. This is ordinance number 3.01.112 on second reading. This is a bill for an ordinance to amend section 13.02.010, 13.04.210, and 13.04.215 of the Parker Municipal Code concerning temporary structures and uses and vendor stands. Stacy, you're not going to come up to the podium? You're just going to do it from the hot seat right there?
I'm just down.
You are awesome. You go for it, man.
Hold on, I think.
If technology will work. There we go. Maybe. There we go.
We're on. All right, so this is amendments to different sections of the code. There are 3 different sections that we're changing, and the reason we're doing these changes is really just to bring our code up to date for one of them. It also creates a specific section for what we're calling mobile businesses that I'll talk about in a minute. And then it also simplifies our permitting process. So the first section that we're changing is section 13.02.010, and it's our definition section. Really what we're doing here is just minor changes. We are moving definitions that were further back in the code that was under the temporary uses, temporary structures, and the vendor stands up to the definition section. So all of our definitions are contained in one area. And then we're also adding a couple new definitions for new terms that we're adding, one of them being the mobile businesses. So the second change that we have is the section 13.04.210, which is our temporary structures and temporary uses section. This also is just minor changes, changes within our temporary structures. Really what we did is we cleaned it up. We organized it to be all in one section and easier to read and follow. And then our temporary uses, again, all we did here is clean it up. We added additional definitions to what are temporary uses and what uses actually fall under temporary uses. We updated the submittal requirements, and then we removed any reference to vendor stands. And the reason we removed any reference to vendor stands is the next section. So the section 13.04.215, which is currently called our vendor stand regulations, we have renamed to mobile businesses. And what we did here is we renamed the whole section, and we added a definition for what a mobile business is. Most people think of a mobile business as a food truck, but it's a little bit broader than that. And we didn't just limit it to selling of food. It also could be the selling of retail sales or services. So it could include like a mobile boutique, or it could include like a mobile yoga bus, anything like that. We created a new permitting process for this and how it would go through. We also changed it from just allowing the permit to be valid for 1 year to being valid for 2 years. And it would be consistent with our sales tax or business licensing requirements. So they'd be due at the same time, so it's an easier processing. And then the last thing we did is we would do one permit or one mobile business permit for the mobile business. And then they could go anywhere within the town as long as they had permission. And that does include town property. And so that is what we did in this section. So the reason we did this is over the last several years, we have received several complaints that our code was just difficult to follow. And what happened was these mobile businesses were either coming into the town and not getting their permit, or were just not coming into the town. And so what we did is we figured out what have other municipalities done and what has worked and what would work for the town of Parker. And really we updated our code, made the process easier to follow and obtain permits, and then just align our requirements with the business license requirements, which should make it easier. The Planning Commission reviewed this application on May 11th, 2017, and recommended unanimous approval. So with that, staff recommends that Town Council approve Ordinance 3.01.112 with the following change. So removal of the additional language added to Section 13.04.210 D5. So we had added additional language to this section that said a temporary use could only be allowed on a legally platted lot. And as we really dove into this and looked at how that would affect our current temporary uses, we realized that that would knock a lot of properties that are currently being used for temporary uses off. And so we didn't really want to do that. So we are recommending that we remove that language from the ordinance. As always, I'm available for any questions you might have. That concludes my staff report.
Council, questions? Josh?
Is mobile yoga bus really a thing?
Surprisingly, yes, it is.
All right.
You just get, I saw a news article last night about baby goat yoga. Whoa. Like seriously, you do yoga with baby goats jumping on you. Just don't quite get it myself. But other questions, council? You're trying to geek out on the yoga with baby goat. I'm not kidding. It was weird.
No, just a comment. I just want to say kudos to staff for recognizing and listening to the business community. We have laws. I obviously always hate to create new laws, but to clean up or to modify laws to address the business community as it changes throughout the years, I think is outstanding. So well done.
Okay. We'll open this up for public comment at 7:54 p.m. If there's anyone in the audience wishing to address council. Mobile yoga bus people. No? Nope. All right. We'll close public comment at 7:54, and I'll entertain further discussion or a motion, please.
I move to approve ordinance number 3.01.112 on second reading.
Second.
Motion by John and a second by Renee. Council, please.
Mayor, I think we wanted to add a staff condition, and that would be staff's requested change to section 1304-210D5.
Okay, so let's go ahead and redo that one, John.
All right. I move to approve ordinance number 3.01.112 on second reading with the staff recommendation as outlined.
Second.
Okay, motion by John and a second by Renee. Council, please vote. The motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is item number 12. This is ordinance number 1.497 on second reading. This is a bill for an ordinance conveying certain real property by easement to Parker Water and Sanitation District for a water line on town-owned property south of Kinney Creek. Alex, you're gonna rock us on this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The property under your consideration tonight is located southwest of the intersection of Stroh Road and Parker Road. It's located more specifically between Parker Road and Cherry Creek, just south of Kinney Creek and south of the Riata West development. The property is currently undeveloped. A request has been made by Parker Water and Sand and the prospective developer of the Cielo development to have a water line easement dedicated to Parker Water and Sand across this property. Cielo is a proposed residential development located just south of the town boundaries within unincorporated Douglas County. The easement in question is proposed to contain a water main that runs from Stroh to the Cielo development across several properties in this area. The development is required to construct this infrastructure to provide water service to the property. The proposed water line alignment has been coordinated with town staff. This graphic shows specifically the alignment along the town property. It has been located along the western boundary of the property to minimize any encumbrances to future development. It has also been coordinated to avoid conflicts to the nearby Cherry Creek and to the future crossing of J. Morgan Boulevard at Kinney Creek. There will be a bridge structure in place, and the water line has been offset to the east outside of the future right-of-way to avoid any conflicts in that area. The easement is generally 30 feet in width, aside from one short section at the very south end of the town property. Parker Water has requested that this section be a 50-foot wide easement to accommodate a future reuse water line they want to construct in that area. The water line was originally proposed as a 12-inch water main between here and Cielo. In exchange for this easement, the developers agreed to upsize the line to a 16-inch water main, which should be big enough to accommodate the future needs of any development on the town property in this area. Additionally, no utilities are currently in place on the town property, so granting this easement and allowing construction of this water line will save the town the future costs of building this infrastructure when this property develops down the line. So in closing, the developer will be required to obtain the necessary permits from the town, which will include a grading permit and a right-of-way permit, along with any development approvals from the town, Douglas County, and Parker Water and Sand. Staff does recommend approval of this easement. A representative of the Cielo developer is here tonight to answer any questions you might have, as am I. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alex. Council, any questions for Alex?
Alex, can you just touch a little bit more about the property being that it's town-owned and I'm not saying what the future use may be, because obviously that's not known at this time, but this is not a privately owned piece of property. This is a public piece of property that we are granting an easement through, and with that, we're gaining water to it. I mean, an infrastructure benefit at no cost to the town, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, again, we are, this does create a future encumbrance on the property, but as we said, we've coordinated the design as best we can to shift that all the way to the west, near Cherry Creek in the floodplain where the area probably isn't very usable for development in the future. So we feel it's a good trade-off and provides a nice benefit to the town to save that infrastructure cost that we would need to outlay in the future with development.
John?
Yeah, and just to further that, kudos to the staff and the CIP team for having the forethought to upsize that water line, so we have that ability to tap into that water if and when we do in fact develop that piece of property for town use.
Okay. Does the developer's representative have anything to add to it? Just name and address for the record, please, and then.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrick Ling, L-Y-N-G, excuse me, 1000 South Russellville Road in Franktown, Colorado. And I'm one of the principals in this Cielo development. And the reason that we have to do this, and it is, I think, a benefit for a number of properties along the way, is we're right next to another development that we're doing that's it's called Stone Creek Ranch, and that's within the Pinery Water and Wastewater District. And we thought, because all the infrastructure was already there adjacent to this property, it would be beneficial to tie into their water lines and sewer line and what have you, but they're not really interested in expanding their borders any further. And so we went to Parker Water and Sanitation District, and they were nice enough. They see some benefit in it as well. I know that property that you own had been slated for quite some time for a rec center. Is that still a possibility?
The world's the possibility.
Anyway, I think it will be a benefit for whatever you do there. Certainly, if you have a rec center, you got a great big water line you can tap into. Also, the South Metro Fire, we're going through their property, so they have a stub there. And the Summerfield property, which is a little south of there, they have a stub that they can utilize. And we're going all the way across our Pinery West property, which is in the Pinery District. So we don't really need that one, but you're probably all familiar with the Hess property, which is immediately north of our Cielo project. And so we're cutting across their land just a little bit. Most of it down there is in the North Pinery Parkway future right-of-way. So I think it's an expensive piece for us, but I think it will benefit a lot of things. And if you have any further questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Great. Council, any questions for Patrick? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll open it up for public comment at 8:01 p.m. Young lady, do you want to come public comment? No? All right. Close public comment at 8:01 p.m. and I'll entertain further discussion or motion, please.
Move to approve ordinance number 1.497 on second reading.
Second.
Motion by Josh Martin and a second by, was it Debbie? Council, please vote. Uno más, one more time.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is item number 13. This is ordinance number 4.101.4 on second reading. This is a bill for an ordinance to amend sections 11.16.010, 11.16.050, and 11.16.060 of the Parker Municipal Code concerning the Parker Property Maintenance Code. Mr. Maloney.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am joined by Commander Joe Kirst.
Commander Joe Kirst. You got to say that with authority and with Commander Joe Kirst.
And so Commander Joe Kirst is now responsible for neighborhood services. And one area that neighborhood services needs some help is to deal with the exterior of buildings that are in unsafe condition. We currently have a nuisance code, but that is rather difficult to implement because of all the notice requirements that are necessary in order to perfect and eliminate or abate a nuisance. So the thought was, how can we deal with exterior buildings and do it in a simplified way? Well, in 2015, you adopted portions of the International Property Maintenance Code, but you only did a very limited portion dealing with the exterior of commercial developments, for example, driveways, parking areas. The International Code is much broader than just the exterior portion of commercial. You can also have it applied to residential. So the thought here would be to adopt other sections of the International Code to allow for neighborhood services to deal with unsafe exterior conditions with residential, But I would point out that we are not adopting those sections of the International Code that deal with the interior of a structure. This would simply be the exterior of the structure. I think one example that we do see are fences that are down. And this is a way for code enforcement or neighborhood services to go in and deal with that immediately. Commander, would you like to add anything?
Kind of how we talked in the past in regards to it being so limited. This just provides us another tool to kind of clean up blight in the neighborhood. Again, like the town attorney said, it's all exterior, where the neighborhood service officer has a legal right to be nothing interior on there. So it just gives us another tool to assist in residential areas.
Council, do you have any questions? I'll go ahead and point to Josh. No?
Yeah, well, yeah. So obviously my concern is overreach. And how are we safeguarding ourselves from, my neighbor calls because my paint's peeling and they're upset because it's decreasing their property values. And now our PD has become the enforcement wing of whatever it is, HOAs or whatnot. So talk to me a little bit about overreach and protections there.
So what we're looking for are unsafe conditions, and we still have a strong public commitment to go out and notify the owner of the problem and give them an opportunity to correct. So I think you'll continue with the courtesy notices before there's any actual enforcement. Commander?
I would agree with that. Yes, if it's
I would concur with the attorney.
I would. If it's paint chipping or anything like that, again, yes, I would agree. Unsafe.
You don't have to worry.
You let your chip paint. Any other questions? No? We'll open it up for public comment at 8:05 p.m. Mr. Houston, you want to come down for public comment? No? Commander Jokers, her taser is fully charged if you want to come down and she can.
Right the lightning.
All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment at 8:05 p.m. and I'll entertain further discussion or a motion, please.
I move to approve ordinance number 4.101.4 on second reading.
Second.
Motion by Josh and a second by Debbie. Council, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Council, I'll need a motion to recess our council meeting so we can go back into exec session after our Parker Authority for Reinvestment meeting. At that point, some action still may be taken, but we'll need a motion to recess our meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Josh and a second from Amy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now recessed at 8:06 p.m. Carol, you're going to switch tapes, and in just a few minutes, we'll start our Parker Authority for Reinvestment meeting.